What's good? This is Kareem from DJBooth.net, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a quick rundown video review on the new Pioneer DJM-750 4-channel professional DJ mixer. So if you guys remember, a few short months ago we reviewed the DJM-850, and this is its little brother, the DJM-750. It's basically an update of the very popular DJM-700 that was released a few years ago, and this brings some of those cool features from the upper tier of the DJM range down to the lowest denomination of the 4-channel mixer brought to us by Pioneer DJ Division. So what we're going to do is break this down. First off, we'll do a quick first impressions and overall setup. And the first impressions are very good. You have the same durable build quality as the mixers from the high end of the range. Very club-like sturdiness to the whole steel chassis. You have all of your knobs and buttons are very, very reassuring. Everything is built very nicely. All of your faders have the new P-lock fader caps. That way you can't flick them off accidentally or lose them. You also have metal posts under all of your knobs. Some of the knobs are rubberized coating like the EQ knobs, and some of your knobs have a more plastic or harder coating to them, such as your filter knob for your sound color effects and some of your other controls over here for your microphone. But overall, you have a very solid, very sturdy, very durable build quality, great for club installation or for those DJs who want a club style mixer right at home with them, or for mobile DJs who need something like this that's very tough for those who are on the go. For setup is fairly easy. We'll show you all the inputs and outputs on the back when we break the mixer down in detail, but basically you just have to plug in all of your inputs, all of your outputs for your speakers. And if you want to set this up with USB, because the mixer does send full MIDI, and it also has a 4-in, 4-out sound card that you can plug in your USB port here, and then you can use your ports, your RCA ports here, to play back DVS time code control for your external CDJs or your external vinyl time code. So you have a lot of features that you can use here, and setup is fairly easy, fairly straightforward. You do get a driver disk with this so that you can upload the drivers to your computer via the CD that's supplied with the software on it. In that software, you'll be able to select what you would want each one of your inputs to act as, if you want them to be time code, and they'll be able to line up with your computer, so that way you can set up exactly how you want to play your music. Okay, so here we'll go over the inputs and outputs and your connections. On the face of the unit, you have your 1/4-inch headphone jack. You also have your combo microphone, XLR, and TRS as well. And there is also the USB connection covered up with a red protection type of tab. Next up, you have your on-off switch. You have your AC in, standard plug here. You also have your send and return TRS for your external effects loops. Then you have your master output 1, which is XLR, your master 2, which is RCA, your record output is also another RCA, and then you have your booth output, which is RCA. On the 850, it's actually a 1/4-inch. And on the 850, you also have another microphone port here, and you also have another MIDI, old school MIDI type input-output connection as well. Next up is your digital master output, and you have your channel 2 and channel 3 fader start connections. On the DJM 850, you have 4 of them. Here you have your 6 line level inputs and your 2 phono level inputs, which are covered up here. So channel 1 and 4, you can plug in your 2 vinyl decks, and then you can plug in your 2 lines, and on channel 3 and 2 you can have all 4 line level devices connected. Okay everyone, so here it is, the Pioneer DJM-750, and I'll just start off by talking about some of the differences between the 750 and the 850. The 750 has only 2 fader start capability, while the 850 has 4 fader starts. The DJM-750 also only has 1 sound color effect filter knob, while the 850 has a separate filter knob for each individual channel. You also have a difference in the inputs and outputs. There are, for the booth output, there is a 1/4-inch on the TRS, double TRS for the 850, and for the 750 here you have RCAs. And there's also two microphone inputs on the DJM-850, while on here the 750s there's only one microphone input. I'm sure there's a few other differences that I might be missing now, but we'll come back to those if I can remember them in a little bit. So next up, we'll just talk about the mixing capabilities and functions itself. Right here from the top, we have your master level volume control. So hard plastic knob, no rubberized coating on that. You have your line level LED meters. Then you have your Q buttons for your master, and you have a Q button for each of your different channels as well. That way you can listen to in the headphones any of the channels or combination of channels you wish. Next up, you have your balance, so you can change from left to right. Your stereo and mono switch, so you can change from stereo to mono. You have your booth monitor volume control. Again, these are hard plastic as well. You have your EQ curve mode, which is regular EQ or isolator full kill. Then you have your channel fader curve switch, which lets you toggle between the way the fade will be on the line fader. You can't make it very sharp to scratch with, but you can change the type of fade that the channel fader possesses. Next up, you have your three-way switch for crossfader curve control. For this, you can set this to a very sharp function to scratch with, and then you have your full fade all the way through. Then you have your halfway is the actual maximum of both sides. Next up, you have your crossfader. Crossfader is the same from the 850. It's a very good crossfader. It's nice and loose. It was good enough to pull off of most scratches. Didn't have too big of a lag or cut-in distance. So it was a nice crossfader overall. Feels good. Nice high quality. Your line level faders have more resistance to them. Very, very nice and controlled for mixing. And then you have your different assignable selector switches for each individual channel. You can select whether you want them to be on the A side of the crossfader, the B side of the crossfader, or if you want the crossfader to have no bearing, which means through. Next up, you have your 3-band EQs. Each of your lines have their own LED meter, so you can see right where you are with the volume, right in terms of the mix. You also have your trim knob, and these knobs are rubberized coating. All the way at the top, you have your input selector switches. For that individual channel, you can choose CD line, phono, USB for 1 and 4. That means you can use your two vinyl style decks on 1 and 4, and you can use all 6 of your different inputs for CD line mode, because on 2 and 3 you have 2 CD lines each, and then they all have the USB function as well, so that you can control 4 decks of either timecode control or digital control. Next up, in the left section, you have your one mic combo port, which is XLR and TRS. You have your mic level knob, and then you have a high-low EQ for that microphone. Next up, you have your USB port. That way you can plug in your computer without, getting around to the back. So perfect for club installations if you're going to change DJs, or if you're going to use different computers for your connectivity to your DJ software. Next up, you have your talk over on off for your mic control as well. You have your MIDI on off. That way you can send MIDI signal or not, and you can start and stop your MIDI as you wish. Again, you have your fader start for channels 2 and 3. That way, as soon as you start the fade on either side, you can have an automatic start on the deck. If you have it plugged in, it's CDJ. Next up, you have your headphones, mono, split, or stereo mode. Then you have a master and a Q fader knob, and then you have the level of your headphones, and your 1/4-inch headphone is on the top as well. Okay, next up, that brings us to the nice expansive effects section. They have the beat effects, which all of the properties are located here on the monitor. You also have your tap function. That way you can tap the BPM of the beat, or you can do auto tap. That way it returns it back to an automatic style auto beat recognition within the mixer. Next up, you have your boost color effects. These boost effects are noise, crush, jet, and filter, and they're controlled by activating to the left of the knob, the low, or to the right of this knob here, the high. It's also the sound color effects, and there's a boost button in the middle, so that way it boosts the effect of whatever effect you have selected. Next up, you have your different beat effects. This is also another one of the differences on the 850. They have a few more effects here listed. On this mixer, there is delay, echo, spiral, reverb, trans, filter, flanger, phaser, robot, vinyl break, slip roll, roll, reverse roll, and send return. So you can use your external effects modules as well. And the next knob here, it's also hard plastic, and this is a selector knob that allows you to select which channels or which side of the crossfader or the master that you have your effect enacted upon. Next up, you have a time knob to adjust the timing of the effect. Then you have a level depth parameter knob to adjust that parameter of the effect as well. And then you have an overall effect on-off button all the way at the bottom. I'll do a quick demo of the effect so you guys can see.
Her body is a work of art. I'm way too high, her skirt too short. I think I love it, it was just...
So as you can see, you can combine these effects in many, many different ways, and you can get a totally different type of sound that wasn't really popular before or heard of before. You also have your boost, and as you can tell, when I hit the boost function, it gives you a totally boosted effect, basically, and it sometimes chops up the music, and it gives you a nice echo or a nice delay to it, depending on which type of sound color effect you're choosing. Okay, so in conclusion, the Pioneer DJM-750 4-channel DJ mixer is a really good mixer. Even though it lies at the bottom of the Pioneer DJM 4-channel mixer range, it still has some of the features and the deluxe features that's found on the upper tier DJM 4-channel mixers that are found in clubs all over the world. So, for example, you have this very solid and sturdy build quality. It's going to last you years and years to come. It's proven, it's tried, and it will definitely last. You also have this cool effects section that's very familiar to anybody who uses the DJM line of club mixers. You also have your digital readout here, your sound color effects pulled from the 850, and you also have a boost and beat effects that are common on other DJM mixers in the range as well. You also have this plethora of inputs and outputs. That way you can appease many different users for many different systems. You have your 4-in, 4-out DJ sound cards so that you can have up to 4 different decks of timecode DVS, CD, or vinyl control. So that way you can use your external decks with this as long as you're using a software other than Serato or Traktor. And you also have your very, very good sound quality that is known across the world, and the clubs everywhere swear by it. So you have your phenomenal sound quality is here on the 750 as well. On the downside, you don't have any compatibility with the record box software, meaning if you have your CDJ-900s or your CDJ-2000s that communicate with record box, you won't be able to pass any information through record box through this particular mixer. Also, the 4-in, 4-out sound card is only compatible with DJ software like Mix Vibes, Decadence, and different software, anything other than Serato and Traktor. So it doesn't work with Serato and Traktor because for those you need your proprietary sound cards to work. The DJM-850, however, does work with your Traktor timecode, and it's a Traktor certified mixer. The DJM-900 Nexus is also a Traktor certified mixer, and the newly announced DJM-900 SRT is the Serato DJ version of the mixer, which will support Serato DJ DVS when that comes out next month. So for more on the full written review, you can head on over to www.djbooth.net/DJS. There you'll find all of our reviews, news, unboxing videos, and all of our good information on DJ equipment. We're updated daily, Monday through Friday, so come on over and check us out. Also, you'll notice that I'm sporting another one of the shirts from DJBooth.net. This one's called Detox Isn't Dropping, because we haven't seen the album, even though it's been advertised for a very long time. So if you're interested in getting any of these shirts, go on over to DJBooth.net. We designed them there, and they're 20 bucks a piece, so go check them out, and thanks for watching.